Donald Trump tweets a lot of stupid stuff, but this one is special. As Stefan would have said on SNL, this truth has everything. Here it is. First of all, very much like, we're gonna bring it up, like Marjorie Greene, don't ever post on social media that many words at one time. That's crazy, okay? But that said, I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but it says, stupid AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Thank you for defining it. I didn't know what you meant there. One of the dumbest people in Congress. Again, thank you for putting it in quotation marks because it's not true. She's only dumb, not actually dumb. Is now calling for my impeachment, despite the fact that the crooked and corrupt Democrats have already done that twice before. I don't want to keep cutting in, but it's not despite the fact they've done it twice before. They're now doing it for a third time because you keep doing things that merit it. The reason for her rantings is all of the capital V victories the USA has had under the Trump administration. Blah, 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 they're not used to winning. When we examine her capital T test scores, we will find out that she is not qualified for office, but nevertheless, far more qualified than Crockett, who he's now talking about in this message, who is a seriously low IQ individual, or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about her country. Yet the failed country she comes from doesn't have a government. Yeah, but she's a citizen of our nation. They left that. She wants to be here. Why are you talking about Ilhan Omar? Why are you talking about Crockett? I know that like you can't think about one prominent critic of yours that's far smarter than you, that's a woman of color, without immediately going off on a rant about how much you hate women of color. I know that you have to do that or whatever, but then it gets even weirder. There's a sentence that says, how dare the mouse tell us how to run the United States of America? And I swear to God, man, I'm pretty online. I don't know what that means. What is the mouse, or who is is it AOC? Is it Crockett? Is it Omar? I don't know, and I don't have time. He doesn't define it because then he's talking about the auto pen again. Yep, this is an auto pen message. Then he goes back to AOC and says, AOC should be forced to take the cognitive test that I just completed at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of my capital P physical. As the doctor in charge said, President Trump aced it. It's a dementia test. It's always been a dementia test for the years he's been talking about it. And you know what? I think AOC would be okay at dealing with the old man dementia test that you are so impressed that you passed. And then goes on to talking about her district. And then he starts talking about crying Chuck Schumer, who's not even a part of this, and calls him our great Palestinian senator, because remember, Palestinian is a slur that you now use against people you don't like. And he says AOC should worry about her own primary before she thinks about beating Chuck Schumer, whose career is definitely on very thin ice. So is he at risk or not? And AOC has handily won all of her primaries. So what the hell are you talking about? And then he talks about how Congress's approval ratings are all very, very low. That has so many different things in it that it itself should be the justification for an involuntary just period of 72 hours of being watched in a mental facility, I think, until you at least define what the mouse is. Is the mouse talking to you, Donald? Is the mouse in the room with you right now? So I apologize, Elliot, because you seem like a very level-headed, insane person. And you don't need to be reading things like that. But that is the current president of the United States who sent that out. And none of his followers are gonna read that and think, oh, I think he's crazy, actually. What do you think?
Yeah, or it's like he's crazy, but he's, we love his crazy. I don't know, dude. When I read that thing and I read the mouse stuff, I originally thought it was talking about Mickey Mouse, as in like Disney World. I thought we were going back to like DeSantis versus Disney from whatever time that was, because time moves differently than it used to. But I'm assuming he means that she has her voice is like a mouse, I guess. So he's just sort of trying out a new insult a little bit with arguably one of the smartest Congress people that we have. And I think you're right that you can kind of see how when he's typing in this stream of consciousness, one woman of color sort of leads into another woman of color who leads into another one. And then he kind of just has to be very specific to make sure that he's not saying the, category that they all fall into in his mind. And it is an unhinged rant, dude. I mean, it is like, it's sort of getting back to distilled, pure Trump that we've had for so long. And as soon as people start, you see, I think he gets rehabilitated so much by the media these days. And then something like this happens where you go, there he is. There's our Trump. You never really went away. You were always there, and you were always there with these unhinged rants.
100%. I'm gonna end just by giving you AOC's brief response, which I like. I was very torn. I want her to respond, but I also don't. So here's what she said: Mr. President, don't take out your anger on me. I'm just a silly girl. Take it out on whoever convinced you to betray the American people and our Constitution by illegally bombing Iran and dragging us into war. It only took you 5 months to break almost every promise you made, and she is still calling for his impeachment. And that's good. I like it. I like it. I am not gonna break any news when I tell the audience this. I know that I've already said this. I have like 1,000 reasons that I want AOC to be our next president, but also, and this is me being very MAGA. Do you have any idea how much it would break their brains and Donald Trump's if she got elected, or Crockett, or Omar, or whatever? Trump, it might kill him. If she were to get elected. So in any event, AOC, please, you can challenge crying Chuck Schumer, our great Palestinian senator, if you want, but keep an eye also to 2028.